friends. Welcome back to my kitchen. Welcome if you're new. I'm Cheryl. This is Table Full of Joy. And friends, you know something good is happening in the kitchen when there is bacon. I am craving meatloaf. Friends, it is 94 degrees here. It is supposed to be getting cooler, and it's not. And I am really desperately wanting fall, but I've been craving meatloaf for a while. So we are gonna make a recipe. I was scanning through Pinterest like I always am, looking for fun recipes to do. I found a fun recipe for meatloaf, but I'm gonna tweak it a little bit because I know what we like in meatloaf and what we don't. I'm sure that one is probably fine, but I'm gonna take the concept that's in that recipe and do my own twist on it. So let's get our meatloaf made because we need to get that in the oven and get it baked. I've got some potatoes over here boiling. I cooked a pound of bacon right here, and we're gonna do something with that. Our potatoes are pretty close to being done, so we need to get this meatloaf done and in the oven so we can move on with our potatoes. So friends, as you know, we are in Pantry Challenge kind of, and we are using up what we have. This is a package of ground beef that I had in my freezer that I got on clearance at Fred Meyer, and we are going to use this ground beef to make a delicious bacon cheeseburger meatloaf. Yes, friends, I said bacon cheeseburger. So we're gonna add a little bit of this fresh cooked bacon right into our meatloaf. We're gonna save a little bit of this bacon to go on top of our meatloaf mashed potato mix when it comes out. I'm gonna add a packet of onion mushroom soup mix to this. This is just gonna give us some really good flavor. We're gonna put a little bit of the Kinder's steak blend in here. I don't wanna go too heavy with this because that mushroom soup mix has got quite a bit of salt in it. We're gonna do a little bit of Kinder's barbecue. Instead of doing ketchup, I'm doing barbecue sauce in the meatloaf. I don't want to get this too terribly wet, and I am going to put a couple squirts of mustard. I am not going to add any extra salt to this. Apparently my mustard needs to be shook up. We're not going to add any salt to this because we've got plenty of salt in the onion soup mix, salt in the steak blend seasoning, salt in the bacon, salt in the cheese. There's lots of salt, so we don't need to add any extra. And last but not least, we're going to shred a little bit of cheddar cheese. I'm not going to do all of this because I want to save some for on the top. So friends, if you haven't guessed yet, we are doing a mashed potato topped bacon cheeseburger meatloaf. So this meatloaf is going to go into a casserole dish. I am not putting any breadcrumbs in this. I'm not putting egg in this. I'm not putting any of the things that are in a regular meatloaf recipe because I've got lots of things in here and I don't want to add those extra things, and it's what I want to do. So, all right, so we've got our meat, we've got our ground beef. We're just going to get in with our hands. We're going to break up this ground beef, and we want to get all of this stuff mixed in, trying not to get too heavy-handed as we're mixing because we don't want to mash this ground beef until we pack it into our pan, because if we start mashing this thing, we're going to wind up with a really super tough meatloaf. And I just want my stuff mixed in nice and gently, and then we're going to put this in our casserole dish. It's going to go in the oven and it's going to bake. If you are using an extremely fatty meatloaf, you would want to put this in something so that it's not sitting in its own grease, but this is a really good quality ground beef and it's not super fatty. So I'm going to wash my hands really quick. All right, so here's the pan for our meatloaf. I'm not going to spray it because I'm sure this beef has got enough fat in it to keep it from sticking, so there's no reason to grease it. We're just going to lightly pack this, and because this is not a super thick meatloaf, this is not going to take an hour like a traditional meatloaf would take in the oven. We're making this a fairly thin meatloaf. It's going to cook in probably 30 minutes, if that. We'll check it at the 20-ish minute mark and check our temperature on it and see where we're at. I'm going to save a little bit of our barbecue sauce and our mustard because before we put our creamy mashed potatoes on top of this, we are going to put some more of our barbecue sauce and our mustard on this for a sauce, and then we'll put our mashed potatoes. So this is gonna go into a 350 oven for about 30 minutes-ish. So we're gonna do our mashed potatoes, and I wanna show you a tool that I absolutely love. Have you guys ever seen a ricer before? This thing makes the best mashed potatoes ever. So I drained my mashed potatoes. I'm gonna dump them in a bowl because I wanna rice them directly into my pot so that I can mash them. So we're just gonna get a pair of tongs and open up our ricer. And we're I'm gonna do one potato at a time. And we just push it, and just like that, we rice our potatoes. This is what gives you absolutely the most beautiful texture on a mashed potato. So silky, so creamy. I had this for quite a while and I hadn't used it in a long time. And I just ran across it the other day, and I was telling my husband, I said, I need to get that out and use it again because it makes the most delicious mashed potatoes ever. So once we get our potatoes riced, then we can just gently fold in the rest of our ingredients, and they are perfect. So for my potatoes, I'm going to use the last of this chive and onion cream cheese. Our potatoes are still nice and hot. I'm going to put in some of this butter. And I'm just going to kind of mash this around, just kind of stir these a little bit. I'm going to get just a little bit of sour cream. You can use milk, you can use heavy cream, you can use half and half, whatever you want to use, but I'm just going to use a little bit of sour cream because that's what I like in my mashed potatoes, is cream cheese and sour cream. And then we're just going to take our spatula and we're just going to very gently mix all of this stuff into our potatoes. This makes the creamiest and most beautiful texture on a mashed potato. You don't end up with any lumps in it. You end up with just a beautiful texture. So for these potatoes, since they're going on top of our meatloaf, I don't want them too wet or too soft because they will really not sit on the meatloaf very well if they are too loose. But I think I will put just another little dash of sour cream. We're not going to put the cheese inside the potatoes because we're going to put cheese on top, as well as a little bit of our leftover bacon. Friends, let's give these mashed potatoes a taste. You can see the texture on those. They are so fluffy. They literally just melt in your mouth. There is no lumps. They are just perfect. They are so good. I'm gonna leave these sitting on my stove. I don't care if they cool down because they're gonna go right on top of my meatloaf when it comes out of the oven. We're gonna clean up. When that comes out, we're gonna put our mashed potatoes on. We're getting some green beans going, and dinner's gonna be ready. All right, friends, here is our meatloaf. We're gonna get our mashed potatoes put on it. We're gonna grate some cheese. Our bacon is ready to go. Let's make our sauce real quick before I forget, because I almost forgot about that. And then we'll put our mashed potatoes. So I just have a little bowl here. We're gonna put a little bit of this barbecue sauce in this bowl. I actually think that's all I have is a little bit of this barbecue sauce. I'm Might have to look and see if I have another one in the fridge. I do. This is my favorite, so I figured I probably did. All right, so there's our barbecue sauce. We're gonna put a little bit of mustard in here because it is a bacon cheeseburger meatloaf after all. Got our little spatula. We're gonna mix that up real quick. We're gonna get that put on our meatloaf. You can see all this beautiful bacon that is in this meatloaf. So we're just gonna drizzle this over the top. We're just gonna use our spatula to kind of push that around, get our meatloaf all fully covered. As I said, this meatloaf was really, really thin, so it did not take very long. It only actually took about 15 minutes for this to cook. And I've had it kind of sitting on my counter. That's the reason I can handle the pan, because I was waiting for hubby to call me and tell me he was on his way home so I could finish dinner. And he just called, said he's on his way. So we're gonna go ahead and get this put on here. We're gonna put our mashed potatoes down right on top of our meatloaf. I'm gonna grab some fresh green beans out of the freezer, and I'm gonna drain the bacon grease out of my skillet over there. I'm gonna leave just a little bit of that bacon grease there, and we're gonna cook our green beans in a little bit of that bacon fat, because that's flavor, and we're pantry challenge here. We're trying not to waste anything, trying to use everything up, and that bacon grease is going to be heavenly on those green beans. All right, let's go ahead and grate some cheese right on top of these potatoes. So this is going to take about 10 minutes probably to heat in the oven. By that time, hubby should be home. And I'm sure he's hungry because it has been a long day for him. I'm going to go ahead and just use up all of this. This is going to give us leftovers for tomorrow night, which is great. Plus, he's going to have a little bit for his lunch tomorrow. Okay. All right, let's kind of equally distribute this cheese on our potatoes. Friends, I am super excited to eat this. We're gonna sprinkle some bacon on top. Make sure we have plenty of bacon in each bite. We've got bacon in the meatloaf, but we still wanna make sure we have plenty in each bite. All right, friends, that looks super good to me. Let's get this in the oven, 350 for about 15 minutes. Put my bacon grease in a jar. This is from cooking the bacon earlier. We are going to get our beans cooked. They're right here. I stuck them in the microwave for like a minute just to kind of get some of that ice off of them from being in the freezer. And I'm gonna just put these in this hot pan. A little bit of bacon grease in here. We're just gonna kind of saute these up a little bit. And then just before we serve them, we're gonna put a little bit of Kinder's lemon pepper on them and a little bit of dried minced onion. All right, I'm gonna turn off the heat. I'm gonna put in a little bit of our minced onion, a little bit of our lemon pepper, all right, friends, let's eat. And here it is. It smells amazing. Cut a piece of this. You can see the layers. All right, friends, there it is. There's our bacon cheeseburger meatloaf casserole with our fresh green beans, fresh from Thistledown Farms. These are the ones that we blanched together, put in the freezer to store away for another meal. I love having these in the freezer. They are so quick to cook. like I said, put them in the microwave for a minute just to take that ice off of them, get that the freezer, well, the coldness off of them, and then just throw them into pan, saute them with whatever your seasonings are. And this is gonna be a delicious dinner. We're gonna go eat this. Friends, thank you guys so much for joining me in my kitchen as we made another really quick, easy pantry meal. This was everything from my freezer, pantry, fridge, whatever. I didn't have to buy anything to make any of this. This was all right here in my house, what I had on hand. So friends, if you guys have not yet, please hit that subscribe button up there. Would love to have you a part of our YouTube family. Hit that notification bell down there so you're notified when we upload a new video. Give this video a big thumbs up, friends. That really helps get my channel out there, lets people know what I'm doing, that you guys like what you're seeing. I will leave my recipe in the description box for you guys, as well as the link for the recipe that I kind of loosely followed. So you guys can do either one, whichever. Let me know if you guys try it in the comments, how you guys like it. If you have a favorite meatloaf recipe, share that with me in the comments, because I would love to see it. I love a good meatloaf recipe, and I would love to make it, feature your recipe on my channel and give you credit for it. Let everybody know that's where the recipe came from. So friends, thank you guys again for taking time out of your day to come and spend time with me, see what I'm doing in my kitchen, come hang out with me. It means so much to me. Your time is valuable, and I know that, and I appreciate the time that you do take to come and hang out with me. So friends, we're gonna go eat this delicious dinner. We'll talk to you guys in the comments. Have a great day, and God bless.